Welcome and good evening, everybody, to another Full Sail University online class. My name is Steve Kane, and I am here with you tonight with the Audio Workstations class. It is a week 1 Tuesday. It's August the 28th, a little after 7 o'clock. And man, it has been raining. It's behind off out today. As a matter of fact, walking in here, I almost stepped in a poodle. It was raining cats and dogs. We got a big old studio audience here tonight. Alfred, Antoine, Billy, Brantley, Katie. Ooh, that dipped out on me. Casey, Danielle. Sorry, Daniel. Dante, Jason, Jeremy with an I, Jeremy with a Y, Jarrett, Jonah, Josh, Jingleheimer, Schmidt, and Justin. Kevin, Laharla, Lucky, Marcus, and let's see, McCowie. Nikawi. I'm going. Wait a minute. I thought I had it earlier. Yep. I got to scroll up in my chat roll. Yeah. Oh, it's going too much. All right. So anyway, Samuel, Sean, Thomas, Tanya, Zahira. We have all got you here, ready to rock and roll with y'all. Glad you're here tonight. Welcome to the Audio Workstations class. So, and look who just logged on. Aaron. Aaron is now in the house. So, welcome everybody, and let's get this party started. So, when you log on to your class, that's a good old ugly picture, and you're going to notice that you have the course resources, books, and archives. I'm going to give everybody 3 guesses of what they think is under there. You're right. It's the course resources, books, and archives. But the funny thing is there's actually 4 things there about this course because luckily, I mean, if you don't feel warm and fuzzy after the opening tonight, you can go back and read about this course, and I promise you, you will feel warmer and fuzzier. All right. But so we've got books for this course. And when you look at that tab, I only had one email come in about like, dude, I couldn't open my books, man. And then later on, I got another one. It's like, dude, I figured it out. And so I just want to stress on this. There's only one way. It's like the golden secret of how we log on and how we open our books. But you have to do a save as. You have to save it. It will not open up in a web browser. They cannot be viewed in a web browser. Let me repeat that. They cannot be viewed in a web browser. Everybody cool with that? So, you got to save it down to your computer. And then what you got to do, if you don't have Acrobat, because a lot of times we have that preview default reader for our PDFs, right? So you might need to get Acrobat Reader. And if you're thinking, hey, Skeins, where do I get that? Well, you click here for Acrobat Reader, right? Easy for me to say, huh? So once you do that, what you can do is you right-click, right? Because the only way you're going to do it is by opening it with Acrobat Reader. The preview PDF will not open it. Y'all just don't know how fun that delay is. I'm telling you, that's half the reason that I teach the course here is so I can have my delay. All right, so check it out. After you do that, then what I would recommend that you do is just come over here. Who knows how to do a copy? What's the quick key for copy? People are like, oh, dude. There you go. Jeremy's there with the Command C. Who's coming up next? Jeremy with the Y is up next. Come on. There's Casey, Antoine. Come on. Who else knows that Command C? They're like, Thomas is like, I want you to mention my name too, man. Here you go. So, awesome. Command C, right? Just like you copy it, right? So, and by the way, I'm going to warn you right now, this is an interactive class. If you were like used to sitting your laptop down and then going making a sandwich and getting mayonnaise all over your fingers and stuff, this is not going to be the one because I'm going to be asking you guys to type a lot to me and ask all that kind of stuff. All right? So like, dude, I'm over here trying to make a sandwich. I got mayonnaise on my fingers. I can't do it. All right, so anyway, just copy that and paste it when it pops open. And no, or yes, you have to do it every flippin' time. All right? So, any questions about the books? You can give me NQ for no questions, or you can ask me a question. Excuse me, the allergies are starting to come back here. I'm getting a lot of NQs, so if you've got NQs for me, I've got a question for you. You know what the fish said when he swam into the wall? Damn. Yeah, Jeremy, you know it. Billy's down with that. Woo! All right, so let's close out these books. All right, so when you go to the Remix Project Guidelines, I'm going to jump into this later because this is what we're going to be doing all month long, working on this PDF right here called Remix Project Guidelines. Every single Monday, we're going to be working on that. So that's where you get that. And then if you happen to miss a class, you're going to look under the class archives, and right under this area here is going to be a YouTube video, and you'll see that after we get started, right? And so, or after it gets loaded up there, you'll see it. And then in the upper left-hand buttons, you'll see the drop-downs to access the earlier classes that you may have missed. But we have so much fun in the live class that you're probably just going to want to stick around for the live classes, because that's the way you can ask questions. So as we're doing this, that reminds me that as we talk about this, we can go ahead and close this section out. I want to talk to you about my my expectations for this course, okay? So as you're watching me, whether it's Tuesday nights or Thursday nights, on Tuesday nights, we're going to be doing all of the remix stuff. We're going to bring up the same project every single Tuesday and keep working on it. And then on Thursdays, we are going to work on our Pro Tools assignments. Can everybody hear me? Give me a yes if you can hear me. Dante, who is having some problems hearing me. All right, so Dante, if you need to log back off and log... Oh, I'm back. Yeah, baby. Woo. So, here's what I'm expecting you to do. So on Tuesdays, we do the remixes. And then on Thursdays, we're going to have 3 different Pro Tools assignments. And on the 4th Thursday, we're going to go over the remix project one last time and talk about how to turn it in. So that's how the month lectures are going on. And the other thing that I want to talk about real quick, just to turn it on a serious note, is I don't want you to follow along with me with your Pro Tools system, right? Because I go really fast, and a lot of times I take pauses and I jump down these teaching tunnels that you don't necessarily have to do, but I want to explain so you have a better understanding of Pro Tools, because I want everybody to be scarecrows, outstanding in your field. Yeah. They're like, I'm leaving, man. So, so that's gonna confuse you if you're trying to follow along with me and you're doing all this like rabbit hole learning stuff, and you're like, oh, dude, I didn't have to do that. No, you didn't have to do that. That's why I told you not to follow along, right? So what I want you to do during these lectures is just chill. I want you to watch me. I do not expect you to fully understand it and be able to go like explain it to your grandma afterwards, right? But what I do expect as you're watching is that everything makes sense as you're watching it, all right? And if something I'm doing isn't making sense, I expect you to ask a question. Right now, I talked about that a little bit earlier with some of the folks, but we've had some new folks come on. So give me a question mark real quick if you are cool that you will ask questions when things don't make sense. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Kevin, Brantley, Macaulay. I'm gonna work on your name, Macaulay. Jarrett, Tanya, Justin, Casey, Billy, Daniel, Alfred, Sam. Man, the other people are like, dude, just call me Nina. She's like. All right, Nina. I'll tell you what. You can just call me like Steve if you want to. I was trying to decide if I was going to go with like DJ Scanes or what or what. Alex like, don't forget me. I'm going to ask questions too. All right, so let's go and click off of these archives then. So what then? Every week is going to look fairly similar in the sense that here's actually the welcome to audio workstations. You're like, I don't feel warm and fuzzy enough already. I'm going to go read that and find out all about it. So you can totally do that, and you will feel warmer and fuzzier after reading the Welcome to Audio Workstations. Now, every week you're going to see a Tuesday lecture where we're going to go over the remix. And every week you are going to see a Thursday lecture where we're going to go over the Pro Tools assignment. The remix is going to give you full creative power. The PTA assignments are pretty much paint by numbers. You have to do it exactly as I do it or you get it wrong. Now, every week you're also going to see some reading. And every week you're going to see a discussion. And every week you're going to see a test. And then every week you're going to see a remix milestone. Now, I'm going to go over this one with you tonight, but afterwards I'm not going to because this is just taking some snapshots to let me know you're on the right page and you got things going on, all right? And then every week except week 4, is going to have a Pro Tools assignment. Now, some special things about week 1 are the installs and updates activity because this is where you go install and update your Pro Tools system. Isn't that cool? It's labeled so plainly. It's like, woo-hoo, right? And then, if you did everything right, there's a Pro Tools install test session. And so what that means, if you load that bad boy up, that thing is going to play all day. All right, so questions about week 1. If you were good with week 1 or how the weeks are laid out, put W1 in there for me. Type out a W1. Thank you, Jared. Moses is first. Of course he is. Parting the sea, baby. Whoa, so many of them popping up. I can't read them that fast, y'all. What? Man, I'm getting some W1s all day long. Later on, I'll ask for some WD-40. All right, so, man, I got to scroll to find out who was up there first. I think it was Moses was up there first. But I'm going there. We got Moses, Sean, Brantley, Jeremy, Jared, Justin, Alfred, Jeremy, Nina. You see that? I called it Nina. Called you Nina that time. Thomas, Tanya, Dante, Jonah, Zahira, Antoine, Alec, Daniel, Sam, Josh, Billy, and Casey. All throwing down at me. All right, so let's jump. Are y'all ready to jump in this thing? So I am going to go over the software and installs and updates with you. That was Stevie Wonder. So softwares, installs, and updates. This is going to take you 1 to 2 hours. All right. So, we're here. I'm not going to read this to you because hopefully, if you're in college, you can read. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Watch this video first and then read the PDF. All right. Now, I am going to go over the PDF for you because what happens. Now, check this out. Even if you're not a car person, I want you to type the word car in for me real quick. If you know that if you went to a part store and you had to buy something for you don't even know what I'm freaking asking yet. Y'all are typing in car. And you had to go, ask for a part. They're going to ask you what make and model you've got, right? Because a transmission part for your Toyota is not going to work for the transmission part in a Nissan, right? Even if you're not a mechanic, I hope you know that, right? So now, you know what? So now say GI, forgot it. Ha ha! See, y'all being all smart and typing in car before I do it. See? Uh-huh. All right. So Pro Tools and OS systems are very, very similar. So one of the first things that we want you to do is go check out what your OS in your computer is. And the way you do that is up under the Apple menu, you go to About This Mac, and right there, boom, it tells you, come on, I said right there, boom, it tells you beach ball, right? I've got El Capitan version 10.11.6. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Shift Command 4, and I'm going to take a snapshot of that because you can use it later for your guide, for your remix milestones. So I make a note of what I've got, right? And then you see, well, I wonder what version of Pro Tools I've got, right? So if you go into Pro Tools, if you've got it running, right, you can just go right under About Pro Tools, and it'll tell you what version you've got. So you know what? I'll do one more. Shift Command 4. I'll do one more. Shift Command 4. Hold the door. I won't do no more, but bam, because I'm going to take that. All right. So, and now you know what, after you get your info, you know what you've got. Now, obviously, if you've got it installed and it's running, it's running. But some people are going like, hey, dude, I wonder, like, if I upgraded my system, like, if it's going to, like, work with this, or, like, this new version came out. I wonder what I need, right? So, Marcus is going to do this. He's going to click on this tab, and he's going to go right here and check it out. It is, oh, this deserves some delay. Hang on. This deserves some delay. It is the Pro Tools Compatibility Chart. Isn't that fun? So, what you can do is you can say, well, what version of Pro Tools am I wanting, and do I have the OS to support it? So what Marcus is saying, or what I'm also saying to all of you, if you have got I would never, ever, ever try to upgrade my Pro Tools system in the middle of a paid project, because what happens when something goes wrong? Notice I said when and not if, right? So Marcus, I wouldn't, if you've got a good version of Pro Tools, I would not worry about upgrading it right now if you've got anything for version 12. Right, so I think you're good with that. Thank you, guys. I still haven't graded professionalism yet. It's not going to have you, not going to help you. But I'm kidding. But that's gonna get you going there, and you can check it out and see what you need, and then on your own time. So like I'm running the 2018, but here's pretty much anything version 11 or 12 is going to be totally cool. Version 12 has got some cooler, funky things on it, but oh yeah, dude. You know what? I take the screenshots of when y'all say stuff like that because we have reviews. Right? Totally. And it's like, no, look, my students like me, even though you think I'm a butthead and I didn't do all my wrapping of my silverware. My students love me. It's totally true. Totally true. I put that in my evaluation package, and I'm still telling you that, never mind. All right. So, let's keep on going. So if you have loaded up, and you were still a bonehead and didn't do what I told you to, and listen to the video or watch the video before you read this, here's yet another video by Full Sail University that can totally help you get your stuff going on. All right. We are covering 2 books. I said 2 books. 2 books. You're like, I hate words. Words are hard. I don't like reading. That's why these classes are going to go so fast. Now, one of the things that I have learned when I was a grown-up is that you read from the backwards to the front of the book, right? Now, that has nothing to do with the Jewish religion. That has everything to do with the index, right? So if you know what you're looking for, you look in the back for the index, and then you go find it in the book. You don't start and you're reading the glossary, know what I mean? Right? So now, if all of this, if watching those 2 videos, if reading this, you still can't get it going on, we have got the most smartest support team here in the whole wide world. You can get them by calling that, by emailing that, by Twittering that, by helping that, and you go to meetings with that. So, are we Japanese? I don't understand what that means. Are you talking about because of all the help ways you can get it? Reading front to back? Oh, I didn't know the Japanese do that too. I knew Hebrew did that. I didn't know Japanese did that. You know what? I gotta ask my sister, little Professor Cooley, who is the chief of staffs over there in Japan for all the bases there. Yeah, man. All right. Well, down. Awesome. So, yeah, always read left. The best stuff is then left to right, then. I mean, right to left. Sorry. So, let's jump to that. We can close that out with the software installs and updates. But no, seriously, y'all. Seriously. This video right here will flip and explain everything. If you are having problems, you probably did something before you watched this video. If you will do this video and do it with the video, man, you're going to totally be fine. All right. So that takes care of that and that. All right. That's that compatibility chart. All right. So going over the remix guidelines, I told you I would do that with you tonight, but normally I would not. So let's jump into here. We've got our milestones. Now, you're going to turn this into me every single week. You're going to turn in a PDF of a handful of snapshots, and those snapshots are just simply there to let me see that you are on the right pace with this. Does that make sense? Give me an MS if that is making sense. All right. And then I just missed a question up there about somebody's plugin, so hang on, let me go get that. Your station there, cool. I think thrown back. Come on, thrown back because the install videos at the beginning of the launch box. Oh yeah. So and then if you missed the plugins part, all right. So you totally got to do that tonight. Then yeah, if you went to the launch box and because I know me, if you're anything like me, you're like, dude, I'm gonna go ahead and load up this Pro Tools like right now. I gotta get it going, right? So I totally dig it. But these remix milestones are just here to make you sure that you got everything going on. So one of the things we want you to do, because at the end of the month, you need to turn this in, and it's going to be too big to email. So I want you to go to Dropbox, and I want you to just get a free account. Now, notice it's even saying like, dude, come on, you're too terrible. I don't care. I want you to get a free account. Don't pay for it, all right? And you're going to need to, get a little picture of that for me and all that kind of stuff. But don't pay for anything. Just get it free. All right? Free, by the way, is my favorite, my second favorite four-letter F word. Food is my favorite, just if you were curious. So that's the one part of your remix is register for Dropbox. Give me a DB if you're down with Dropbox. If you've already got a Dropbox, that is already fine. I just don't want you delivering it in Drive, Casey. So you just take a shot of your already one. If you've already paid for it, that's all good. Man, thank you. I can't even call out everybody's names. Y'all are doing it so awesomely. Your whole class, but it's like, I mean, everybody. I'm gonna do it again, so I'm gonna give everybody a shot. No, I'm gonna do it right now. We're taking the time. Jeremy, Moses, Justin, Daniel, Jeremy, Jonah, Kevin, Billy, Jarrett, Jason, Alec, and KC, all giving me shout outs for that, for the Dropbox. All right, so now we're gonna go and you're like, well, what are we gonna remix, Steve? Yeah, I was gonna go with DJ Judo, but that was already taken. And then DJ Jiu-Jitsu just is way too long. And then, then they're like, was it Japanese Jiu-Jitsu or Brazilian? And then, yeah. All right, so you're going to remix. So I'm just going with Skeins or like Homeboy Steve. A lot of comment, yeah, whatever you want. I'm trying to get a good, I was thinking about Buck 250 because I drive an F-250. And I like Kane Dizzy. All right, so let's go look at these remix stem selections, right? So you've got three, you're going to find this in week one, stem selection, right? I'm not talking about stem cells, man. So I've got three songs that you can choose to work from. You can listen to them. This is the one I picked tonight because I did the other two the last 2 months. And so, sorry, there's an error loading that media source. But anyway, you can take a listen and then download the stems. And what that's going to do is, I've already done that to save a little time. I downloaded the stems for all 3 of them, but I opened up the beautiful one right now, and I've got that going on, right? So as you're looking at your, your, there we are. Download the stems, and we got that. So now we're going to create a new Pro Tools session, and we're going to, all right, so actually, before I move on, is everybody cool with getting to the stem? Get me, put up stems. Show me your stems if you're down with downloading those. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Moses, Alfred, Jeremy, Billy, Kevin, Lucky, Antoine, Casey. I know I missed names. They're going so fast. Jonah Brantley, Zahira, Thomas, Justin, Sam, Joshua, Jeremy, Jingleheimer, Schmidt, Alec, and Jason. Whew. All right. So let's create a new Pro Tools session and import the stems. All right. So under your Applications menu, if you go to the Finder, by the way, I'm holding down the Command tab, holding down the Command button and hitting Tab to cycle through my programs like this, right? So I'm going to go look at my Finder, right? And when you look at your Finder, you can go straight to your Applications, right? You can go to your Applications, right? Just like that, right? And then you see your Applications over there. Now, this is the grandma button. I don't like grandma button. Actually, this is the grandma button. I like this. This is the computer programmer button, right? And just make sure that you see Pro Tools, and then you'll probably want to drag it down to the dock. And so I have loaded it up already and started it, but I will show you how to start a new session. You will go under the File menu and go to New, Create New Session. Command N. Bam! Now, it didn't make the BAM sound, so if you're like, dude, mine's not making the BAM sound, it's not going to unless you do it, all right? Now, I've already named this what I'm supposed to, my first name, my last name, Audio Workstations, Final Remix Project, and then the artist and song name, and I don't even think that we've got the artist name anymore, so you can just give me the song name that you did. And you're going to create from local storage, right? And then that way, and I'm going to explain this in more depth on Thursday night. I want you to create WAV files. I want you to create 24-bit files. And I want you to create 48K sessions, all right? And then for your I/O settings, I just always go for the stereo mix, and that way if I did something weird, it doesn't load up. I like interleaved stereo files. And you can put your location here, but I'm a little bit CDO, which is the same thing as OCD. I just alphabetize it, you know. And so I like to prompt for location every single time that I'm up because I want to know where my stuff is. All right. No, you don't need to have your iLock plugged in. All you need to do is laugh at my jokes right now, Alec. Speaking of which, do you know what you call a fish with no eyes? Just okay. When you hit create, since I prompt for location, just make sure you know where you save it. All right. So that's the big thing. Now, what I've generally done, just to show you, my Finder is in my documents folder. I've got a place for sessions. And so I would do that for all my campus sessions. On my home computer, because I use other programs as well, in sessions I'll have Pro Tools, and then I might have Logic folder, and then a digital performer folder, and a Pro Tools folder, and then all of my Pro Tools folders will go in there. So I'm hyper sensitive about how we save things because you gotta be able to find this stuff. All right. So that's how you do that, and then you would want to import your stems. So with Pro Tools open, there's 3 different ways that you can import, and I've imported everything except the vocal so far just to save a little time. But I'm going to show you one way tonight, and then on Thursday, and I've got a folder for each week of this class too, man. It's cool. On every Thursday, I'm going to probably go into more detail about things that you can apply to your Tuesday projects. So we're going to import audio. Shift Command I right here is probably one of the quick keys that you're going to want to learn. And like I said, I imported everything except the vocal, I believe. So we're going to go look for my online courses. I'm in 1809. Section 1 is where I saved it. Beautiful. And my audio files are the four that I've got in there. So I'm going to go back to this beautiful then and get this last vocal comp. Now, notice when I highlight this, it says copy instead of convert. Let me show you something else here that might say something different. Let me go over here and over here and over here and over here and over here. Yeah, look, see how it says convert now? All right. So I just had these on the, I downloaded them from our page from week 1 for your stems. And then I downloaded them on my hard drive right here. So, but I just wanted to show you, this is why I said don't follow along, because I'm showing you the difference between copy and convert now. So notice that I started my session in 24-bit and 48K, and because this audio file is different, it wants me to convert it. But in the song that I'm working in, it was already 24-bit 48K, so it says copy, right? So notice that it's always going to say add, but you're going to notice this change from copy to convert depending on if they match your session or not. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that in. And when I hit done, the biggest way to screw up your project is to change the folder that it wants to go in. Change this, right? We're like, oh, I want all my audio in like this special folder and like my desktop name, Cool Audio, that I made. Then you're going to screw yourself up right here, all right? This is called a session folder, and the session folder contains everything that it needs to work, including the audio files, man, right? So when I hit open, it's going to save it right there. So it's either, I'm going to put this in my clips list real quick. So when I look at this, now check this out. It is either going, whoops, sorry, I hit the wrong quick key. When you're looking at this and it says copy or add right here, what it's referring to is that it is either going to add it to the clips list only, leaving it where it originally is, or it will actually add it to the session that I created and put it into the audio files folder. And that, my friends, is the difference between copy and add. All right, give me an MS if that makes sense, everybody. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Samuel. Thank you. Oh, my eyes already just got crossed. I got so many people going in. Antoine, Alec, Moses, Sean, Jonah, Nina, Casey, Alfred, Moses, Thomas, Brantley, Jason, Jarrett, Dante. And it doesn't make sense to you. Okay, so here's what I'm talking about. This is the audio, the session folder, right? The session folder. It contains the session file as well as other folders that it needs to work, right? So when you hit the copy button, if I was over here copying this one, so copy would copy it into my audio files folder, which I want it to do. If I hit add, it would only add it to my clips list over here and leave it where it originally was, never ever copying it over to my audio files folder. That is a very bad thing, because then when you go to a bigger studio, guess who doesn't have all of the audio files that they need? Does that make sense now? And thank you for asking. Yes, you generally are going to copy every audio file. The only time that you are going to add is when you were working big time with people and they're like, nope, nothing leaves this studio. You can only add it. All right? And that way they know you're not going to take your laptop out and play the latest, Jay-Z hit for somebody or whatever. The original folder created is when I started the session. Correct, Alfred. And it made everything that I needed. I did not create any of this. All I did was start a session, and it says, boom, I need to create a session folder. I need to create an audio files folder, bounce, clips, session, video files. I need to create a session file, and it creates all of that by itself. Great question. Any other questions while we're pausing for the causing of learning? Give me an NQ if you've got no questions. Start typing if you do. I've got one for you. Do you know what you do when you see a spaceman? You park in it, man. Woo! Loving them. I got people LOOLAing and womp-womping and RFOLAing and LOFMAing, and somebody says, park it. So they even push the caps lock on. He's like, park it. I got to get out and laugh so hard. You got to park that car and let me out. I'm laughing so hard. All right. Let's get back over here. So we imported all our stems over here. And now it says to create a click track for the Pro Tools session. All right. So check this out. Check this out. We need these on tracks. All right. So one of the things you're going to want to do, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tracks. So here's one of the other ones that you're going to want to learn a lot. Shift Command N, right? And I'm going to get more than I need, right? Now check these out. Some of these are stereo and some of these are mono. The ones with little drop bars on them are stereo. So right now I need 2 monos, and I can hit the plus button or I can hit Shift Command down. I'm going to hit 3, and instead of hitting that right there, right, I'm going to hit Command sideways, and then that's audio track, so that's good. And I'm going to hit the Create button, which is just a fun way to say create. All right, now I'm going to show you an even cooler way to do this, all right? So we're going to take all of those, and we're going to delete them. See ya. Now, as long as I've got some gray matter down here, like gray matter, check this out. I'm going to click, and I'm going to shift click, and I'm going to drag these out to the empty gray spot right here. And then what's going to happen then? Oh, come on, it's going to create my tracks. Oh, yeah, I got that. There you go. It's going to create my tracks and automatically name them for me. And look, some of them are stereo, some of them are mono. How you like me now? Woo, woo. So here's one quick key that I'm going to, because it was copying over, it was using all the processing, and some of my sound would start like that, right? So now it's better. All right. So with this being said, here's one of the quick keys I want to teach you. This is a hidden one, right? So everybody look down at their laptop right now, and you've got 4 modifier keys on the left side of the space bar. The 3 closest to it are Command, Option, and Control. So instead of saying an acronym for them, I'm just going to call that 3 fingers, right? So then I'm going to hit the 3 fingers, and then I'm going to hit the down arrow on the other side of the space bar, and watch how it resizes all my tracks to fit. Bam, just like that. Woo! Ooh, that's pretty cool. I like that. Fancy, fancy. I even got this fancy spelling with that. Ooh, look, somebody's. No, I'm not gonna make fun. So I did 3 fingers. So that's the Control, Option, and Command with the down arrow, right? And then that resized everything. So let's just play for a second. Let's hear what this is. All right, so um, let's place all of this at measure 3. Now I got a problem right now because okay, I got to count. I don't have a problem. Never mind. At first, I was going to say if you got a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out my cuts when DJ revolves it. Ooh, ice, ice, baby. Oh, man, I just had Moses say, as long as I use Pro Tools, I never knew that quick key about 3 fingers down. And that's what I love about this course. Whether you've been working on it for years or this is your first time, I want you to be better in 4 weeks than you are now. And if you will just listen to me and pay attention to me and laugh at all my jokes, I'm going to teach you, man. It'll be totally cool. So, what we're going to do is I want these to, they said put a click track on there next, right? When we looked at this, it says create a click track. This is the easiest thing in the world to do in Pro Tools. Sorry, my voice just cut out again. In Pro Tools, by the way, is track, create, click track. Bam. Again, it didn't make the bam sound. I did that. So there's my click down there at the bottom. I actually want the click to be at the top, so I'm going to just drag. You know what? You can drag it from this list. You can drag it from that list over there. It's fine. I said I want to drag it up to the top. And then 3 fingers down again. Make them all fit. 3 fingers down. All right. So now I need a window to turn the metronome on and off. So under Window are all your windows. Holy cow, that makes sense, man. And some people are like, dude, man, that does make some sense, man. I like it. So I'm going to get the transport window, man. Bam. I gotta do more sound effects than bam. See, I like bam when things just like are like that, right? So check it out. Check it out. See this little metronome right here? Bing, 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 bing. Somebody else is saying like, dude, I prefer bam. But check it out. I'm gonna hit pause for the lecture for a second. Check this out. One of the first if you were going to spend an extra $50 to make your Pro Tools system better, what I would do is spend it on one of those big keyboards that has the calculator 10 keypad attached to the side of it, because there are so many quick keys that you can utilize with that. Like this, number 7. See, number 7 is turning that on and off. I'm not clicking that with my mouse. Look. And so it's kind of like I heard this one guy say, well, I'm going to make myself better this year, and every year I'm going to read a new book. And so at the end of the year, I'll have read 52 books, and they're all going to be self-help books, and I'll be a better person. And I said, that sounds great. Why don't you let the first one be on how to speed read and then read 100 books next year? And they're like, oh, Skeins, man. You're deep, bro. And I'm like, yeah, man, that's me. Deeper than a 3-foot well, man. All right, so check it out. We got this click track, but it ain't working. Oh, by the way, how do I remember that that's the number 7? Because you're going to be lucky if someone can actually play with a click track. Is anybody getting bored yet? Click, 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 click. Okay, is everybody hearing the click move off of the beat, right? All right, so all right. Has everybody ridden in a car and not been the first person at a stoplight sometime in your life, right? And you're watching your blinker and it's going like blink, blink, blink. And then you start watching the one in front of you and it's like blink, blink, blah blink, blah blink, 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 blink. And they'll be in like time for like 2 or 3 of them, and then they'll start getting out of time, and then they'll get back in time. People are going like, holy cow, oh my gosh, I know what you mean. I thought I was the only one that did that. No, dude, we're all nerds like that. So check it out. This is what is going to happen if your click track doesn't match. I want to get the grabber tool. That's the one that looks like a hand. You just click it, and that's how you grab it. And you just grab it like you want it. That was a 90s joke, by the way. And listen to this click track. So it's there for like a little bit, but then it starts getting off, right? Guess who is gonna teach you how to fix that? That's right, homeboy Scanes in the hizzy. Faux shizzy. Hey, do you know why Adele crossed the road? To say hello from the other side. Oh, I love it. All right, so check it out, everybody. I got a couple rulers up here. I got a bars and beats. I got a time code ruler, time code 2 ruler. I've got lots of rulers up here. I don't have Henry VIII. But look at this bars and beats ruler. And I can just click on it there, or I can click on it up here. Now, so this is telling me that all this is starting at measure 10, beat 2, tick 852. And that is just awful, right? I want this starting at measure 3. So what I'm going to do is with this little button clicked, right? This is what we call a tick me off button, because if you don't have these buttons right, you're going to be ticked off. You're like, oh, I hate Pro Tools. Pro Tools sucks. I want to get Logic back, man. I love Logic. Pro Tools sucks. I know people have said that already, but that's because you haven't had my class yet. Right? I'm going to get you loving some Pro Tools, loving every minute of it. All right, so check this out. I want to put that at a certain spot. So wouldn't spot mode be really cool? Right? So I'm going to click on spot mode, and I'm going to show you some neat things on Thursday when I have more time. I'm going to show you some really cool things. So spot mode. I spilled spot remover on my dog once. Disappeared. All right, so I'm going to click my acoustic sub, and then I'm going to go all the way down and shift click. Now, a lot of people think if I shift click down here, it would get everything in between them, but nah, you got to shift click on the name, baby. Watch this. Bam. And then it gets everybody in there. All right. Now, sorry, my voice keeps grabbing out. So now with spot mode, I missed that dog. I click on it and I tell it, yo, man, I want everybody to be right at measure 3. Right? And then I just hit OK for enter, or awk, whatever you want to call it. Awk for Spock, right? So now I would have 2 measures of count in, and then it starts. And this is great. Give me an SP real quick if you are in Show Pro. I'm just kind of getting my ideas, because this is a big show production trick right here. Sam and Moses, Sean, good. All right, what about give me an AP if you're in audio production? All right, good. Jeremy, Moses. Yeah, I got a lot of audio production. What about recording arts? Anybody? Anybody in recording arts at all? Okay. All right. Good. All right. So this is good. So the reason that my music production, all right, awesome. The reason I mentioned about this on show production was because, like it or not, and I'll tell a little story about this. By the way, I teach with stories, so you learn a little bit about them. Yeah, there's my music production, folks. I went to go see Van Halen play the FUCK tour, And when they played Jump, they did not have a keyboard out there. And I'm like, oh, stinks. Right? But nowadays, you got people like 21 Pilots going around, and everybody's like, oh, I love these two guys just running around. And you're like, where's all that music coming from? And we're going like Pro Tools. And honestly, Pro Tools is the industry standard for some things, and you've got other people that use other programs that as long as you're bad to the bone on what you're using, that's what really matters. The reason that you're going to find Pro Tools in the big studios is simply because it's the only one that is expandable, that literally you could spend $10,000 on a Pro Tools system where you physically cannot spend $10,000 on Ableton or Live or anything like that, Logic or anything like that. So that's the difference there. A lot of songwriters are using Ableton, a lot of songwriters using Logic, and as long as you can use the heck out of it, that's what really matters. And then I think more importantly, as long as you know what it won't do, and then when you have to go use something like Pro Tools or Digital Performer. All right, so so show production people like to set up all of our system parameters in measure 1, and then have a count off for measure 2, and then have our material at measure 3. All right, so did everybody hear that even from the get-go that thing was off? If you did not hear from the get-go that thing was off, I want to talk to you about our fine arts degrees here at Full Sail University. I'm kidding. But no, being able to hear tempo is one of the biggest things that you need to be able to do in music, is feel the beat, bruh. Now, sometimes I'm down there in Nashville, and they're like, man, is that a 4/4 song or a 7/8 song? Because I can't tell the difference, because they go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3. All right, there's a music theory joke for my music production folks in Southern dialects. All right, so homeboy Steve, DJ Scanes, is going to show you how to fix this up. By the way, right now, I could use the Zoom tool if I wanted to, but I prefer to have my keyboard focus key on here, and I'm going to use R and T to zoom real tight. All right, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my selector tool right here. I'm going to put myself in slip mode, and I'm just going to go right up here to that count off, and I'm going to hit tab. And tab brings me, now when I zoom in, it's going to bring me right there, and that's right there on that transient. So now with this button off, I can check it. By the way, I'm going to mute my click at this point. Okay, so then the guitar comes in right on the beat, right? So I'm going to use these two to establish my tempo map right here, right? So what I'm going to do, let me do a little bit of teaching real quick. All right, so we're hitting pause for a minute, and the tab to transient, this little button right here, tab to transient, watch this. So as I hit tab, see how it moves to the different transients? Right? That is totally awesome. All right? Now check it out. Look what happens if I hit Option tab. See how it moves backwards to the transients? Right? Everybody put a T on there if you see my transients moving. Or no, yeah, T is fine. Thank you, Jeremy, Casey, Lucky, Jeremy, Sean, Antoine, Justin, Michael, Nina, Tanya, Billy, and Jonah, and Antoine, and Jared. Thank you. All right, so check it out. Now I'm going to hold down Shift. And just like the internet, when you hold down Shift, it selects. Look at that. Right? So what I can do then, if I know that those two are lining up and that guitar comes right in, I can hit Shift or Tab to transient, and it gets right here, and then Shift tab, and it gets right there. Now, the way I check this is I listen for my 4 clicks, and I make sure that that is all right. So with my selector tool in slip mode. I'm going to go tab to transient once to get it to the front, and then I'm going to hit tab to transient again here. But now, to go backward, actually, what I did is I hit tab, and then I hit shift tab. Sorry, I was here. I hit tab to go here, and then I held down shift and hit tab. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I'm in loop playback mode. Right, I right-clicked right here on the play icon. And by the way, the quick key on it is the number 4, because what do you want to loop that for, man? Well, because I always got to check my loops. And I'm going to listen to those 4 hits and make sure they're good. So that sounds like a good loop, doesn't it? Give me an L if that sounds like a good loop. You're like, what in the L, man? Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to go up to clip. Sorry, I'm going to go up to event, and I'm going to identify beat. Okay, now I'm going to tell it, because it thinks it's measure 3 to measure 4, beat 1, tick 107, and I say, no. I want that to be measure 3, and I want the end to be measure 4. Now, before I do this, I want to take a little learning moment. See how it's exactly 4 seconds? That's not going to change when I do this. Command I is the quick key, by the way. When I change this to measure 4, all I'm going to change is my bar and beat ruler. I'm not changing time at all. See, now it just relines up. It's still 4 seconds, but now listen to my click track. And it totally matches. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to this guitar sub, because I think that's the best thing I can get for tempo right now. And I'm just going to make this big. And so what I'm going to do now is now I've got a problem, because it starts in at 120, but then it jumps down to 116.7575. Right? So I got people coming in here like, hey, I'm here. Here, you get this is kind of like church. When you come in late, you can just like sneak in on the back pew and all. I'm kidding. I'm glad that you are here, Charles, and you've missed a lot of jokes. So you got to go back and listen to the archive to make sure that you catch them all. All right. Like, why didn't the toilet paper cross the road? It got stuck in a crack. Oh, lordy. All right, so check it out. Ain't nobody got time for this, right? It's like, hey, let's click it. That's how we're going. All right, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Doom, 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 doom. Right? So I need that this count off be the same as this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put my cursor down here, and then when I click, look, it automatically grabbed the right tempo. Look, if I didn't put my cursor here, it would not have automatically grabbed the correct tempo. So see what I mean? So I put it right here, and I put it, and all I'm going to do is say I want measure 1 to be that same thing. And look, it corrected everything else. And I hit the awk button. Whoop. So now I got a problem, though, because look at this thing. I double click on it, and it doesn't start right at measure 3 anymore. So what I've got to do is get my guitar subs, and remember we hold down shift and get everybody else. Ooh, let's 3 fingers down again. What mode do I need to be in to put it at a certain spot? Spot mode. And what tool do I need to grab it? The grabber tool. And so I grab it, and I just simply put it back at measure 3, which is just French for 3. And so now, because the real tempo is 116.7575, so now it clicks in the same exact beat. Now see how it's drifting? All right. So, true or false? Rhythm is either played by a computer or a person. And when I say computer, I mean a drum machine or whatever, right? It's either some kind of computer or a person, right? What are y'all making, sandwiches or something? Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Casey. Thank you. Thank you, Jared. Thank you, Samuel, Jeremy, Charles, Thomas, Antoine, Moses, Michael. Thank you so much. It makes me feel like people are actually listening to me. Oh, my gosh. So, which one of those is not going to ever drift? The machine, the computer, the drum machine, man. Which one is going to have groove like nobody's business, man, and be able to lay the beat back about on not the beat too, man? That's right, the person, the human, right? Now, if you was got some pro, Jeremy's like, well, kind of either if you really want to be serious about that. Jeremy, I've already got a 13-year-old that argues with me with every point I make. I don't need another. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm being totally silly, Jeremy. I'm not being serious. All right, but Jeremy is right. I mean, you can totally program some crazy computer stuff. But let's just keep things simple, Jeremy. Come on, help me out here, Jeremy. All right, so Jeremy's mad at me now. He's not even laughing at me anymore. All right, so when things are when things are at the computer now, I don't probably need to change this much. But you just heard that human drummer drifting off, right? Jeremy, did you hear that drummer drifting off? Awesome. Now listen, here's how we're going to fix it. Because I know you're like, tell me, Skane, tell me how to fix that thing. Tell me, Skane, tell me how to fix that thing. Well, we said that the acoustic guitar sub actually was not it, and the guitar sub was more of the thing. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go play this thing. All right, so I need to start looking for measure 5. So one of the things I can do up here is just go type measure 5. And when I do that, if I zoom in, I can see that I really think that this is probably measure 5 or this is measure 5, but I doubt that that is measure 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place in slip mode, I'm going to use my cursor and I'm going to put it right here. And I'm going to try hit and play a couple times. And if you want to double check, since we did the real measure 4, we can type in measure 4 up here and check our loop. So give me a G for good or an NG for no good, if that's a good loop or not. So when I hit stop, I've got two choices. The easiest one is to just hit Command again, hit Command I again, and say, nope, that should be measure 5. Right? So now, when I go look at measure 6, so now I've got measure 5. Now I go look at measure 6. I zoom, and look, it's a little bit late. So I think this is the real measure 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tab. And see how it's right there? Now it's 61046. So now check it out. When I hit Command I this time, since I don't have a loop selected, it's only asking me to identify one spot. So I can say I want that spot to be measure 6, and you hit OK. Now, if you want to check yourself, set up a loop between 5 and 6 and see if it's good. Okay, so let's go to measure 7. This one looks really weird, right? It's like, whoa. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to jump to 8. Yeah, see how that one's 7, 4, 8, 34? I know that should be 8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in here measure 6, and if that's right, that should be a 2-bar loop, right? All right, so since it's good, I'm going to hit Command I, and I'm just going to say, yep, that's from measure 6 to measure 8. So I don't have to do every one because that measure 7 would have been really tough to find, you know? Same way, like if I was doing a reggae drum, I might, hitting that beat 1 is kind of weird. Had that, right? And that might be easier just to find beat 2 with the snare, right? Or whatever. So as we're going through this, so look now, and it is okay that all of these changes are happening, right? Because they're microscopic. And you're not saying, oh my gosh, they just sped up. But what we're doing is making the click. Now, watch what happens. After, when I stop doing it, the click is going to drift. See how that started to drift? Now, who wants to guess why? Or actually, let me just tell you, because I don't want a bunch of stuff just going all over the place. Let me just tell you this. All right. The reason that we are tempo mapping almost every measure is because we are going to be adding our own music to it. So we need the click track to follow it exactly so I can do things like quantize and stuff like that. But if I was only mixing it and I just wanted my delay times to be set, I might only identify every 4 or 8 bars because I'm not trying to make things totally perfect. I'm just trying to get my delays to go or whatever, right? So the reason that we are now, let's go back over here, adjusting the tempo of my Pro Tools session to lock the click with the audio tracks. Now, let me show you this now. In your remix project guide, guidelines in week 1, which is what we're doing right now, I'm giving you exact directions of everything I just did. Create a tempo map, use identify beat for the first 2 to find the tempo, insert the tempo change at bar 1, realign the song to bar 3, continue to identify beat if the metronome drifts, and then if these steps are done properly, the song will start at bar 3, and the metronome will play in time with the music throughout the song. I've got Jeremy saying, is there a quicker way to set the tempo? There are some automatic ways that are covered in the advanced courses that I'll talk about a little bit later on, but this is the best surefire way. The other automatic ways, you're just kind of guessing sometimes. I'm going to show you a really cool way that involves the option and tabs and stuff. Now, what I'm going to do, since I've already got one marked at number 8, I'm going to try to grab number 9 and 10. And the way I'm going to be doing this is I'm going to hit up arrow and down arrow. All right? So I'm going to hit play, and on number 9, I'm going to hit the down arrow, and 10, I'm going to hit the up arrow. And then I hit stop. Now check this out. Remember those tab to transient things that we talked about? So check this out. Option goes backwards, shift selects, and tab goes to the transient. Let's watch. Now I'm going to hit the left arrow to go look at the left side. I think I got in there too late. So I'm going to hold down shift, and then I'm going to hit shift and tab to get me right here. And let's see if that's a full way. This is where you don't want to listen to the... All right, so that'll work. So now I'm going to do Command I and say that's from 8 to 9. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing. Now I'm going to hit right arrow to go look at this. I'm going to do Option, Shift, and Tab. Then I'm going to hit the left arrow to go look at the other side. I want to put it in front of this one, so I'm going to hold down Shift and click it. Now I'm just going to hit Shift and Tab, and I'm going to check it and see if it's really 2 measures. Perfect. Now see, it's off. It thinks it is 1386. So now when I hit Command I, we're going to say nope. Sorry, I didn't hit Command I. I hit Option I. Command I. I'm going to say that shouldn't be 9 beat 4. That should be 10. And then that shouldn't be 11/4. That should be 12. And now we've got so let's look at measure 13. That one's going to be weird to get. Let's look at it and see if measure 14 is any better. Yeah, totally. And just tab to transient. Right? And look, it's a little bit late. So if you want to check it, we know 12 is good. Right? And we would just make a little loop. All right, so now Command I. Till at 14. And now listen, I don't get that funky click anymore. All right, so now I'm going to go grab 15 and 16. Down arrow, up arrow. So, I think that it is probably right here. So I'm going to do Shift, Option, Tab. Oh, I did not do that correctly. I just did the whole thing. So let's just go to measure 15 again. I think it's right here. All right, I'm going to turn the metronome off again. So maybe it's not that one. Maybe it's this one. So I'm going to need to look at this a little bit here. We got 14. Let's go look at 15. If we think that, let's listen to it from 14. I'm not hearing that yet. Let's go back to 13. No, I think it was that first one over here. So I'm going to hold down Shift and go here. Let's listen to that. Now I think that's still late. Now it's too early. All right, so what I'm going to do, let's jump over to 16. Yeah, 16 looks good. All right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to call that 16, and we're going to see how bad we drift from, like, measure 10. See if we get any drifting. All right, y'all ready? Yeah.
As we lay on the roof, looking up at the stars.
I think it's that little spot right there.
At the stars. At the stars.
Let's do our little loop trick.
As we lay on the roof, looking up. As we lay on the roof, looking up.
Yep, that's good. So I do Command I. And you see how when you check it with loops, it just makes everything so much easier. You can really tell if you're on it or not. I'm just going to lay out a couple more for this, and then we're going to get to the next part. Actually, I'm going to hit save now, and I'm going to do a save as, and now I'm going to start marking this one up. So we'll call this one marked. All right? Because now what we want you to do is create markers. Oh, let's go back to the remix milestone. Oh, sorry, there we go. All right, memory locations in your session to define the song structure. So let's do this. So what we do, memory locations is another window right here, memory locations. And then that pops us up. Now, one of the strangest things about Pro Tools, are you ready? One of the strangest things about Pro Tools is that it calls it the memory locations window, but yet the ruler is a marker. Never understood that. So, I've got some chat room action going on right now, which is the exact reason that I talked about what we talked about tonight. I said, as long as I do not expect anybody to be able to just go like, all right, cool, I can go do it now. But I want it to make sense as I'm watching it. So, are you folks that are talking right now, is it making sense, or do you need to ask me some questions? Because you told me earlier that if it wasn't making sense, that you'd ask me questions. All right, so the reason that I do the loops is so I can hear them, right? Because what happens is as I was going through marking up the front, and I knew that was perfect, on the start, I could use the perfect one, like 5 or 6, and then I could use the weird one here. So let's do one more, and I'm going to... So we're right here at 19, right? And so when I go find 20... Looking up at the... And so I zoom in here at 20, and so it's a little bit late maybe. I put it here, and then I'm gonna tab to transient. So it was a little bit late. It was 21:50. So to check this, I'm going to leave the end length where it is because we know that 18 was perfect. And so if this is a good loop, it'll sound perfect. That the stars that shine on where we that the stars that shine. And you should be able to click your, boom, 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 boom. Right? So now, and notice, I want you to notice the time isn't changing. I'm not changing the tempo of the song. This is still going to remain 34 seconds and 639 milliseconds. But what I'm going to do is when I hit Command I, I'm going to say, I don't want that to say measure 20, beat 150. I want that to be measure 20. I'm identifying that beat, and it does the math then and says, all right, well, I know what the tempo is. Kind of like if you and I were going down the street, right? And you're like, hey, Steve, how fast are we going? I'm like, I don't know. And you're like, oh, well, I got an idea. Watch your odometer and tell me when you hit a mile, and I'm going to time us for a minute. And I say, okay, cool. So I'm like 3, 2, 1, boom. And then so you start timing me, and you're like, all right, here, we're coming up on a minute. Get ready. And then bam. And I said, oh, my gosh. We went exactly 1 mile in 1 minute. And so you did some math, and you're like, all right, wait a minute. Well, there's 60 minutes in an hour. And what? Oh, so that means we're going 60 miles per hour. And I said, very good. And so what we're doing is we're saying, hey, here's 34.6 34.639 seconds, and it's two measures. So it does the math and says, all right, well, if there's two measures, if there's 8 beats in 34.639 seconds, then there's 117.0066 in a minute. And so all it's doing is aligning up the measure to the beat, because this was recorded without a click track, and I want to be able to do things later on like quantize and stuff like that. And if the measures and beats don't accurately represent the audio, then there's no sense in doing those functions, right? It might as well use a tape machine, and then you'd be using like a tape machine that can copy and paste, right? So we're just making it so the click track now follows the song exactly. And now it does. Haha.
If only you could see the difference in my face.
I'm gonna do one more right there for measure 16. Oh, did we already do one for 16? Yeah, I already. All right, cool. We're good. All right, so I'm gonna hit save, and so I created memory locations for the session to define my song structure. So the fact that the tempo at the top is changing to the measure is not a bad thing. Correct. Right, Jeremy, man, because like we go down to the islands, man, right? And I'm listening to my favorite players right down there. And then like and I don't care that they are in a groove, right? That's what happens when people get excited, they speed up. And when they're wanting to, I mean, think about classical music, and or just scary music, right? They're about to run into the woods, or they're about to get eaten by the shark. Right? So I'm not going to get busted for copyright infringement tonight. Not Scano. Hey, do you know what you call a beer? I mean, a bear. A beer. A bear with no ears. Just a bee. Just a bee. All right, so what we have done, man, look at this. We have taken this. Now, I've only done a little bit. I'm hitting R and T to zoom back out. So notice that the numbers are changing, right? And they're only changing slightly. I mean, Jeremy's not going like, holy cow, did you hear him slow down from 117.7697 to 117.0066? Right? Right? Nobody's going to do that. They're like, dude, they got some groove. They're holding out when they want to hold out, and then they're coming back when they want to come back, And so the fact that you're going to see these are simply just telling you that this was a human drummer, and that's a good thing, and that's okay, and I want to see those. All right? So now what we're going to do, since we've got all that lined up, I'm going to go into grid mode. And now that we've got our memory locations and our markers here, and I don't have to have both. I'm just showing you that they're the same thing. I'm going to make my grid mode a whole big measure, because what I want to do as I hit enter, it's going to pop this up, right? And I can type in whatever I want to and then hit OK. Now, I don't want that one, so I'm actually going to hold down Option and delete it. Now, some people are saying, dude, I just hit enter on my machine and it didn't do that. And what's the big word on the button you hit? It's not enter. It's return, right? Now, if you will look on the very, very bottom left of your Mac keyboard, there is a function key with the letters FN on it. Now, this function button works with some things. Like, for instance, if you hold down the FN button and hit return, you get a memory location, right? If you hold down the effing button and do some other things, you can get some other functions as well. But that effing button is pretty effing cool if you don't have your extended keyboard. But I know everybody's going to have that. All right. So before I do this, the other thing I want to point out to you is that I've got auto name memory location turned off so I can give it my own names. Bloody hell. So I hit start, and then I was going to hit return. Or enter, or effing return.
If only you could see the difference in my face as we lay on the roof, looking up at the stars that shine on where we lay.
All right, now since I didn't do any more of that, I'm just going to lay down here. Now, I missed one of them. I missed the count off. No, I got the count off, but then I missed right when they came in, that intro. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag this back, and because I'm in grid mode, it'll work right there, right? And then I can actually right-click on this and change the name. So let's look at these things. All that it was doing, we'll call that in, right, is it was saving a marker. None of the other settings, all right? And what that allows me to do is to be able to jump to the click or to where they hold. And it will do it in real time as you're playing.
As we lay on the roof, looking up.
So, you can even make selections with it. Hold down Shift. I love using this. So, here's the story when people are like, do I have to do this? Right? So, when I worked up in Nashville, right, I was real lucky up there. Nicole Cochran got me my first internship. She actually was the lady working at the cell phone booth counter when I changed my number. She said, "Why'd you move up here?" And I said, "Be in the music business." She said, "Well, let me call my friend Nicole. I think she's looking for an intern." And Nicole happened to work at the biggest studio in Nashville. I was very lucky. So I got there, and that first session I was on was a Vince Gill session, a famous country singer back from the 1900s. And they handed me a lyric sheet, and I was like, holy cow. I'm not even the intern, and they're making me feel special. But what I didn't know is they were expecting me to do something with it, and it went a little something like this. They tracked the whole song in one take. Most of the Nashville musicians do. And then the bass player, and why is it always the bass player, you know? No, I'm kidding. The bass player says, hey, I'd like to do something different in right before the second chorus. And so Snake looks at me and he says, where's the second chorus? And I was like, it's behind the third verse, which was not the time to be a smart aleck. And he says, no, seriously, didn't you write down the times? And so what I was supposed to be doing as they were recording to analog tape was writing the time of every other line starting lyrics, like, all right, 23 seconds, 49 seconds, 123, whatever. So this is your way of doing that, and you're going to mark up the entire song. So I did a little bit more, like, I know these aren't verse 1, 2, and 3, but I wanted to show you a couple of them and show you that you can use them. Oh, and the other cool thing that you can do with these, by the way, is the quick key for the big keyboard. Like if I want to go to verse 3, I could hit 0.7 point, and I'm there. Or 0.2 point, and I'm there. So that's pretty cool. I like those kind of things like that. So, how many people got questions for me? You can give me a question. You can give me an NQ if you want to do that. Because you know, if you don't got any from me, I got one for you. Actually, I don't have another question for you. I was going to tell you about my son. He just started college, and he's like, "Hey, Dad, I just got this new girlfriend. She's a vegetarian." And I said, "Oh, I don't think I've met herbivore." Herbivore, right? All right, so I use the enter key to create the markers on the big one, and I use the function return key for the small keyboards. And with that being said, let's go check out our stuff, man. I'm going to go hit save again. Sorry, save. So now our click works. Woo! I'm telling you, you might have to watch this video a time or two and try it out for yourself. Cause tempo mapping is one of those things that people try to sing the first time and it doesn't work. They feel like a jerk.
If only you could see the difference in my...
But once you play with it, so let's take a pause and talk about expectations again. So my expectation is for you to watch this video 2 or 3 times. The first time you watch it, I do not expect you to do anything except watch it and see if things make sense. The second time you watch it, I expect you to have Pro Tools open and try things yourself just with the functions. And then if you still are not catching them as you try yours, I expect you to try it a third time after you've downloaded the project and trying it with that. All right? Now, some people are like, dude, that's expecting me like 3 hours. Yes. I'm expecting you to put in at least, I would say 30 hours. Nah. I would say, all right, so if this is 2 or 3 assignments and then we got a video 2 or 3, yeah, I would say about 30 to 36 hours a week in this class, right? 30 to 32, somewhere around there, because if this is going to, the project, just doing this project is going to take you 2 or 3, then watching the video 2 or 3 hours, taking the quiz, right? So I really do expect you to be really tired in 2 or 3 weeks. I'm going to load this video up online here when we get done. I'll probably be ready sometime in the middle of the night or something, but let's keep on going. All right, so you registered for your Dropbox account, right? You downloaded all your audio files for your remix. We created this new Pro Tool session, and we imported them all in. We created our click track, and we made it fit. Now, remember, these things in the milestone are also duplicated in more directions, in more exact directions in your week one remix. All right. Now, with that being said, let's jump back over here. And we created the memory location. So, what are we going to do? Right? Well, you need to show me that you've got your stuff going. So each week, you're going to turn in a milestone of the remix project, which is just a PDF. So you're going to do something like this. You're going to go to Word. You're going to, no, I don't want to end the training. People are like, no, don't end the training yet. Don't do it, Steve. All right, so we're going to go to Word. We're going to make a new document. Come on, Word, new document. All right, let's go here. Let's go here. Here. Come on. There we go. Word, new document. There we go. Come on, Word. Come on, Word. I know you can do it. There we go. All right, so let's option click on that guy. All right, so what we're going to do now then is we're going to capture a bunch of screenshots, just like I told you, and we're going to name it first name, last name, or right that. So I'm going to copy that. And so the first one is going to be, all right, so first one, let's do save. So I'm going to hit save. And I'm going to copy that. Oh. Duh. It's like it was already named document 1. There we go. So we're going to save it as that. Oh, we did 2 of them? All right, cool. Steve Jane. With the caps lock on. For right now, I'm just going to save it on my desktop. All right, so what we need to do now is we need to capture these screenshots, right? One was about this Mac. Now, remember, all the screenshots usually show up right on your desktop. So if you go to the desktop, or go to Word first, and then go to your desktop, you hit Command-N, all right, go to your desktop. Let's go over here. Did I actually copy that? Command-V. Oh, no, sorry. So let's do this. Let's copy about this Mac. All right. I'm going to go here. I'm going to hit return. Then I'm going to go to my desktop. Grab that screenshot that we had right here. And I'm going to drag it right there. And then you're going to go get your next one for About Pro Tools. And you're just going to go hit return again. Paste. And you're going to go back to your Finder. And I think we did that one too. I think we did a screenshot about our Pro Tools. So we're going to grab our Pro Tools. Now, after you do all this, you're going to come up here. You're going to hit save. You're going to go to the print menu, right? The print menu. And now, look at this. Look at this. When you go to that print menu, look at what it's going to do. Look at this. Would you look at it? Come on. Come on. Come on, Word. Don't fail me now. Don't fail me now. See where it says PDF right down here? Look at this. Boom, right here. I say click down here. Save as a PDF. Just like that. And you can do that. Anybody can do a save as PDF. It's as easily as pie. And you just name it the same way. Just and now, when I go and I look at my Finder, I'll have a PDF to turn in. A portable document format. That's good. That's what I want. Do you know what Forrest Gump's password was? 1 Forrest 1. All right. So we did all those. Save your PDF and upload it to FSO. All right. So I just showed you how to do that. Now, do not zip this file. I could say it like this. Let me move that. I've gotta move that. Come on now. Move that. Do not zip this file. Don't do it. Don't do it. We don't want it. We don't want it zipped. Just give me the PDF. Late assignments will not be accepted. Now, obviously, if you're having some problems and you're talking with FSO and you reach out to your instructor and you let them know and you show them the ticket, of course, we have empathy. But if you don't communicate with us, sorry. You know what? And if you deliver this in any other format, if you send me a Word document, guess what? You are going to get a 0. Oh, come on. 0. Timing is everything on that thing, man. I'm telling you. So, PDF, otherwise, you could get your zeros. I can't tell you how essential these weekly classes in for your success, because then you get to ask me a question right away if something doesn't make sense. So we've got about 15 minutes that we're going to do. So check it out. Right at the bottom, no guesswork. You got 4 images: your Dropbox, your Pro Tools session with the stems, with several tempo selections, tempo marker rulers, right? You're about this Mac and about Pro Tools. Now, if you don't give me titles, 20 points. I've already talked to you about these, about the zeros that you're going to get there. I guess I won't give you negatives scores or anything, but it's as easy as pie, as some of my Southern friends have said. It's easy as pie. Mama told me that a Southern girl's favorite type of pie was meringue. All right. So, any other questions about tonight's assignment, about what to expect? So we did the remix stem selection. We picked out that, and then we went through the remix milestone. So if you've got NQ, no questions, get me an NQ. If not, let's do this. I'm going to stick around after lecture to grab questions that aren't related to this project with that. But I want to remind everybody, and I mean everybody, that if you are not getting this after you watch this a time or two, I want you to reach out to your instructor and make sure you get some help. You've got 3 stems that you can choose from, so any one of those 3 that you want to do is fine with me. As you're going to find out next week, we're going to strip out all the music, and we are going to make our own song coming at it. So, with that being said, I had a fabulous night tonight. I want to thank Alec, Antoine, Billy, Casey, Charles, Darian, Dante, Jason, Jeremy with an I, Jeremy with the Y, Jarrett, Jonah, Joshua, Juan, Justin, Jingleheimer, Schmidt, La Harla, Lucky, Marcus, Michael, Moses. Where did Nina go? We missed Nina. Samuel, Sean, Tanya, Thomas, and Zaria. Thank y'all so much for being here. It is my pleasure. Thank you for being here with the Audio Workstations class. Once again, my name is Steve Kane. I appreciate y'all being here. And as always, peace out.